guys, it's going to be a great episode today.
It's going to be a very cold episode.
Yeah, that is
Hoe lang deze uitzending gaat duren.
Oh, Bas. Maar dit is geen media. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 8 of HIWRs3ep8. And wow, it's great to be back in the flatland. And what a show we have for you tonight here at Rugby Club The Dukes. We're going to have a split cast today. We've got some amazing guests with us tonight. Of course, my good old friend Eric.
Hallo.
How are you doing, mate? You good?
Geweldig, ja.
Yeah, enjoying the winter?
Ja.
You can see, mate, definitely enjoying it.
Fatshaming voor mensen die net terugkomen van de 250 kilo. Omdat jij nou 2 stone lichter bent. Maar je hebt het verdiend, je mag het er even in.
Yeah, listen, I'll take it. What did you say? That my face used to be fatter than your whole body.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. I think it's now a special warm welcome to a good friend of mine and Ian Campbell McGeechy. Welcome to the Netherlands. Welcome to the show, mate. Awesome to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Very well mannered, eh? Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're not used to that.
And then, of course, a welcome back to Wessel Bakker from RSA, the captain of RSA. Unfortunately injured at the moment, but welcome back. Another victory for RSA this weekend over the Oysters. Fantastic result. A season of up and downs, I can imagine. Lots of stories to come from there. So some interesting stories to be heard tonight, Eric.
Ja, het was nogal kut weer natuurlijk, afgelopen zaterdag. Dus ik dacht, nou, ik hoef niet heel vroeg naar de Dukes. Die speelde heel laat. Mijn zoon gaan kijken om 5 uur. Maar voor die tijd kon ik dus thuis even mooi naar de Oysters AAC kijken. En het geluid stond uit, maar ik hoorde Wessel, die woont, dat is even 20 jaar, die gaf verslag samen met René Forsterbos. Die hoorde ik bij die laatste try ongeveer bij mij in de woonplaats wel schreeuwen van blijdschap. Dus,
well, that's what it means. To win at the Oysters is never easy, and for our side to get a victory there, special day. Especially, I can't imagine it was nice and dry and sunny, so yeah, it must have been interesting. But we'll get into those games a little bit later. In the second half of the show, we'll be having both head coaches of RSA and Haarlem with us, Logan and Paul, and so a little bit of a different show tonight, which always makes it a lot more interesting. Lots to get through, some great results this weekend. I think first, before we move on to the Era Klasse, Future Class and Eerste Klasse results, just a little bit of news. Obviously it has been a while, but international news with the Dutch teams performing so well lately, Eric. If you look at the men getting one over Chile, a World Cup team. You look at the women, the season they've had, just getting over Brazil. Another World Cup team beaten. The under-18s for the first time finishing third at the Euros, which makes it a big difference for the draw next year. And then the under-20s finishing second, unfortunately not getting the gold over Portugal, but Portugal were just way better in that match. But 3 years at the Euros, 3 years in the final. Obviously some really good positive things happening in Dutch rugby. And long may it continue.
Ja, duidelijk. Ja. We zijn het eens.
Geen commentaar.
Nee, ik ben er heel blij mee. Het zegt iets over de inzet die gepleegd is door clubs en academies. Door alle mensen die erbij betrokken zijn. Uiteindelijk krijg je allemaal een soort proefwerkje. En dit zijn de proefwerkjes. En hier wordt getest hoe goed je het nou eigenlijk hebt gedaan. En dat is goed.
Ja. So congratulations to all those players, coaches and stakeholders, I think parents, everyone that donated money, everyone that contributed. Thank you so much from everyone here at HIWRs3ep8, but also Rugby Netherlands, I can imagine. But moving on swiftly, Ian Campbell McGeechy, also known as Mr. Miyagi. Yes. No one knows you as Ian Campbell McGeechy in South Africa, only Miyagi, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting story, I know.
Is it PG?
No, it's not.
Okay, it's a family show, we can't share those sort of stories, is it?
No, it's just literally everybody in South Africa not being able to say my surname, and our hostel father, Paul van Blommestein, came up with this funny name, and he mentioned it, and Paul mentioned it in front of all the rugby students, and that name just never went away. So Stellenbosch.
So it had nothing to do with wax on and wax off?
No, nothing very interesting. It was just couldn't pronounce my surname, which is obviously a tongue twister. But it's stuck, and it's been part of my life for 23 years now.
Okay, so listen, fantastic to have you in the country. I think Rugby Netherlands and especially Haarlem have signed an absolute gem of not only a person but also as a director of rugby, I believe is your role at the club.
That's correct, yes.
And what's first of all, how's it been? You've only been here for a month.
Loving the weather. The weather's been amazing.
I've never seen a guy arrive so wrapped up today. And this is not even winter.
Yeah, no, but it's living in Haarlem is nice. There's an unbelievable experience and environment at the club. We definitely striving to get community involved. Definitely more of a family environment where the youth and the older players are very much intertwined on weekends. This weekend coming up again, we've got a Super Saturday, if I'm correct, where everybody's playing there and everybody's supporting, which means we're trying to keep players that's from the area at the club. Definitely going forward, if I'm correct, you asked that question.
Well, I'm going to ask that question, but you seem to just remember all the questions I said I was going to ask you. But so what's the goal going forward? What's your sort of mandate, or what's your biggest thing?
If I can put it into like three different aspects. First one is definitely to get the first team back on a winning streak, and because that's obviously your flagship. If the first team's doing well and there's a certain brand of rugby being played, people want to align with that, and it makes it a lot easier to take it to the second part where there's alignment that needs to happen throughout the club. Makes coaching and explaining and having results-driven certain circumstances a lot easier, where everybody's on the same page, everybody coaches together, everybody knows why we're doing it, instead of just saying we're doing it and hoping everybody understands it. And then I think the third thing is to get the youth more involved, more numbers up, getting them to understand and play rugby for enjoyment, and then on top of that, explain to them why there's a result at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, look, it looks like Haarlem has got some real good things in place. I think good coaching staff, great board with Frizo, Peter, Jeroen. I don't know the rest of them, but those are the only ones I do know. Yeah. But good people, so
great
you
people.
Sort of got the spine of the club and a great, strong youth. All your youth were in the semi-finals, finals last year. So there's a lot of good things happening, and obviously now it's just a matter of, like you say, putting all that together and getting it come through into the pathway.
Yeah, I think alignment is first of all a big thing. We had a chat about it in the way here. Trying to keep our Rangers positive, to seeing where they are at the moment is a bit of a negative.
Did you have to say that?
No, not at all. I mean, it's just...
not a bet from the players. I get to get the Rangers.
It's positive.
No, but I mean, it's super important. If you don't have your future class understanding and enjoying the game, then you lose a lot of players.
Oh, is that your future class team?
That's
Rangers?
the future, yeah.
All right, I thought it was like a last coach you had to say three things and get that in. That sounded like one of them. But anyway, I'll come back to you about that. But 100%. Wessel, obviously, welcome back to the show. Unfortunately, injured at the moment. RSA back in the era class. So the last time we spoke, you had that amazing game against Utrecht students, if I'm correct.
Ja,
winning it it was a hell of a game. I don't think we've ever had that many supporters at Gooi for years.
Wat geld in het laadje bij Gooi gebracht. Recordwinst.
Paid for my retirement, which is always good. But talk me through. What's the season been like? What's the experience been like?
Zoals gemerkt hebben we onze ups en downs gehad. Maar het is geweldig om mee te maken. Het is zo'n ontzettende step-up van de eerste klasse. Het is een veel harder niveau. Het voelt bijna professioneel zelfs. En ja, ook wel verliezen we blijven bouwen. We blijven beter worden gezamenlijk. En het gaat steeds beter. We beginnen elkaar meer te voelen. We beginnen onze jongens opnieuw te kennen. En veel nieuw talent er ook bij. En het is gewoon een hele hechte club.
So, I mean, obviously, our experience is that if you do go from week to week struggling to get the results and 30, 40 points against, what's the motivation been like at the club in terms of training, in terms of the coaches? What's the message been? How have you guys adapted to that as players?
We begonnen tegen Breda met een winst. Dus dat hielp al gelijk van, nu gaat het echt gebeuren. En de wedstrijd daarna tegen Dukes kwamen we ook zelfs voor.
Ja, dat was echt,
het was 14-0 in de eerste 20 minuten. En dan beginnen we een beetje te paniekeren soms van, gebeurt dit echt? En,
wij ook hoor.
Ja. Dukes scheet ook een beetje.
Eric almost went to go by Winterbanden again.
Winterbanden.
Nee, maar we verliezen wel. We hebben 9 wedstrijden verloren nu. Sommige ook wel dik, waar we het liever niet over hebben. Maar sommige waar we ook met 30 of 20 punten verloren. Maar alsnog bij onszelf dachten van, we hebben echt een goede pot gespeeld. En we kunnen dit. Dus we blijven alleen maar bouwen. En ik denk dat in de tweede helft van het seizoen, in het nieuwe jaar, dat we echt wel verrassingen gaan brengen.
Ik wil even vragen aan Wessel. Je speelt alweer bijna een jaar natuurlijk, 11 wedstrijden in de ereklasse. We gaan het straks nog even hebben over de eerste klasse. Jij kunt de meest realistische inschatting maken vanuit het spelersperspectief over het niveau, verschil tussen de eerste klasse en de ereklasse.
Ja, het is ten eerste het fysieke aspect ervan. Het is voor je lichaam ook echt wel een hele uitdaging. De jongens die, zelfs onze meest ervaren spelers uit het herenteam, die hebben ook geen ereklasse wedstrijd nog gezien. Dus die moeten ook wennen aan het niveau en de lichamen hier en daar, de pijntjes, die zijn meer aanwezig bij ons. Maar nu komen we eindelijk weer terug, waar de spelers een beetje terugkomen. Terug van blessures en dat gaat nu echt wel beter. Maar het is vooral het fysieke spelletje. Wat steppen dus van de eerste klas naar de ereklasse.
En het tempo, hè? Het tempo gaat wat sneller, hè?
Dat vooral.
And tell me, what's the secret been in terms of the on-off-field culture at the club in terms of making the step up and keeping everyone together? How's that been? What's the secret at RSA?
Gewoon ook buiten rugby elkaar zien. Dat is, het klinkt heel simpel, maar dat is het echt niet.
Nee.
Het is gewoon na een zaterdag ga je niet, ook al heb je verloren, je gaat niet naar huis, je gaat naar de kroeg met z'n allen, je gaat eten met z'n allen. Na een donderdag hebben we standaard elke donderdag eten. Goedkoop eten met sponsoring en dat is geweldig. Je blijft alsnog even een uurtje, 2 uurtjes zitten in de club na een training. Over met elkaar praten. Het zijn je beste vrienden die daar zitten. En het zijn je grapjes voor het leven.
Gezonde cultuur.
Ja.
Okay, so we'll come back to a little bit more talking with Ian and Wessel, but I think it's time to get into a bit of footage. In the first one we have the Dukes against Breda, which the Dukes were comfortable here, 50 points to 3. You must have been very happy, Eric.
Ja. Ik had een leuke pot gezien, de Rotterdamse studenten. Vorig jaar nog in de ereklasse, eerst in de future-klasse tegen de Dukes. Die hebben de Rotterdamse studenten gewonnen. Maar dat was een hele goede, gelijk opgaande wedstrijd. En daarna Breda. En er ontstaat altijd het gevaar dat men het onderschat. Ik wil 100 keer zeggen, kijk nou uit. Want als je veel fouten maakt, dan kikt Luca Kansen er gewoon doorheen. En dan kun je zomaar nog in de problemen raken. Bijkomend probleem is dat we tegenwoordig ledverlichting hebben. Ja, het is hartstikke donker.
Maar luister, kan iemand iets doen over de licht of iets?
Nou ja, dat wilde ik net zeggen. We hebben tegenwoordig ledverlichting, dat is beter voor het milieu. Alleen je ziet, met filmen wordt het niks. Het is een drama, dus die avondwedstrijd is voor ons gewoon een serieus probleem vooralsnog.
So why are you playing in the evening, may I ask? I mean, it's winter, it's dark at 5 o'clock.
De competitie was ingedeeld. De eerste wedstrijd 's morgens Cup 2 om 9 uur. En de laatste wedstrijd was 's avonds om 9 uur afgelopen.
Maybe you should get another field, like most other clubs.
Dat ik daar gewoon nog niet aan gedacht heb. Dat was een goed idee. Nou, dat gaan we morgen regelen. Wat een briljant plan.
Volgens mij is het de powerplay. Je moet 2 velden hebben.
Ja, precies.
The Dukes, because they have you, it's okay.
Nee, dan hebben wij ook gewoon 2 velden. Maar dan zijn ze net zo groot als die van Rotterdam.
I'm still looking for the field.
It's over there in the dark.
But easy win here for the Dukes. Obviously the Dukes are back. I mean, if you have to look at the top of the table, there's 4 teams that are making the Dukes, Rotterdam, Ameland and HRC. HRC maybe and Ameland just a little bit above the rest, but it's clear the top 4 teams at the moment in the competition. Ian, it's going to be, it'll take a little bit of effort from maybe the 5th, 6th, 7th teams to have a look in there.
Yeah, I think honestly it all depends on those first 4 games turning around from next year. If you have a proper off-season, those 2 months, and you come back and you're in the money, there might be an outside chance for 5, 6 and 7 getting into the back door. But you never know, circumstances change. But also, I've heard March, the weather also changes, so that might also have a big influence.
The back door is not so nice in March. But right,
it freezes less.
Yeah, it freezes less.
So it's swampy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
de Gooi heeft de wedstrijd minder gespeeld, daar nog steeds op de 5e plaats. Is dat een inhaal tegen Eemland?
Ja. Is het?
Ja, Eemland of Rotterdam?
Ja.
Nou,
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam. Nou,
dat gaat niet gebeuren.
Nou, precies. Dus nee, dat gaat niet gebeuren. Dan hebben ze inderdaad dadelijk 11. Dan zitten ze
But a comfortable win for the Dukes. Obviously something going right here, Eric. You're not in the picture anymore. It's probably
Ik heb vorige week zelf maar gezegd, nieuwe voorzitter. Hè? Ja, het gaat hartstikke goed, vind ik geweldig. Maar ik had echt een stuk prettiger gevoeld als we vorige week van Kas hadden verloren. Dat is nou maar met 1 puntje verschil. Maar als je die wedstrijden verliest, dan kan je nog steeds kun je jezelf niet rijk rekenen.
Well, I wasn't here, but I didn't really see the game. But yeah, I could imagine that wasn't something that was expected, to be honest. And it was a bit of a surprise that Cass was able to pull one over the Dukes.
We verliezen daar al 300 jaar uit op Wouterland. Dus dat kan nooit een verrassing geweest zijn.
Oh, there we go, you hit the nail on the head. But if we go to me and the technical problems here, sorry.
Was working.
Cass against Diok. Diok pulling a win off here, 6-21. And again, I mean, there's some interesting stories about Diok at the moment. Some rumors that we can't really say yes, it's going to happen. But there's
goed, dus het zijn inmiddels wel geen geruchten meer. Die hebben wel een probleem, maar ze hebben hier wel duidelijk de overhand tegen Castricum. Er was geen vertekend beeld of zo. Ze waren echt de sterkste op het veld.
So in other words, just didn't really get the points scored, or great run there. But yeah, so Cass hot and cold, eh? One weekend beating the Dukes, next weekend against Diok. But Diok for me is a team up coming up. Wessel, I don't know if you've watched any of the Diok sort of footage.
Well, we played them. We hebben tegen ze gespeeld en dat is niet onze beste wedstrijd. Laten we het daarop houden.
I remember that,
Ja. Dat is een wedstrijd die we wel snel willen vergeten.
Okay, but I mean also maybe Miyagi, if you talk about, I mean Diok really struggled at the beginning of the season, but they do seem like to have turned the corner a bit under Marshall, and some nice attacking play, interesting players, a lot of young talent, a lot of good Dutch internationals that are maybe hitting a bit of form.
Yep.
But is it too little too late?
We spelen dit weekend tegen ze. En er zijn een paar jongens die hier ook gespeeld hebben met Marshall samen. Die spelen nu bij Diok. William Edwards bijvoorbeeld. Hele goede speler. Ze kunnen het ons zomaar heel moeilijk gaan maken.
Yeah. Miyagi, do you know much about Diok?
Not yet. At this stage, only focusing on week by week who we're playing. But listening to what coaching and Logan have said, definitely a team to look out for, and you have to have your ducks in a row when you play against them. So definitely, and also playing more games against each other, with each other, that makes a difference. Yeah. Getting some youngsters back also had an influence in our team, so definitely. Yeah,
because I mean, moving on to the next game, Haarlem versus Hoek. I mean, I was lucky to be there. The weather wasn't so lekker. The atmosphere was fantastic.
Yeah.
And a great atmosphere there, even though the weather wasn't great. Logan was up to his normal tricks on playing on grass and weather like that. But,
En wat ik ook nog begrepen heb, is dat Haarlem in eerste instantie meende te weinig spelers te hebben om de wedstrijd te spelen.
Yeah, I'm getting there if you let me finish. I was also
je wou dat zelf zeggen.
The Irish forwards coach really tried to put me in a corner when I arrived, which was always fun. Irishman, but Mick, no hard feelings there, buddy. But also, I think, Ian, what was the plan going in? Because obviously you struggled throughout the week with players. Yeah. You actually looked to try to postpone the game because of injuries. Right. What was your plan going into this game? Obviously, it was denied to move the game, and then what? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's only you only get a few chances in halves where you literally try and figure out a plan, and it comes down to 3 or 4 different circumstances that have to go your way. So we had 1 or 2 kicking tricks up our sleeve, which we try to which we got right in the first half, and then obviously we just played this environment better in the second half, or not better, but it worked out for us, getting those patches of grass and then skidding out, putting the lineouts under pressure, getting some turnover, and I think that's and then trying to create that in the right areas, which is a little bit easier when you start getting that right in opposition's 22. and trying to get it right on your side of the half, which worked for us because of the
I thought
the wind.
your 10 had a cracker of a game.
Nou, en Denzel Walker.
Yeah, definitely. So
And then HIWRs3ep8 coming on.
yes,
He's a special player, we all know that.
yeah, and I think if we get our forward pack in the game and they start feeling the dominance, it's easy to go forward. So that was the difference. And like you said, Denzel stepped up to that day. Got the pack going forward, and then all we did is just and on top of that, not missing one kick to poles, which made a big difference.
And that try right at the beginning, I think
Yes.
if we watch the game now,
Yeah, it's like I said, everything just have to, 3 or 4 things have to go right. And if you think pass of 9, pass of 12, line of 13, timing, everything there just works out, and then on top of it, they need to make a mistake going for the wrong guy.
I think we have to talk about these shirts, because as far as I know, it's the Gooi Dolphins.
Weather should have suited them.
Yeah, no, look, it was a bit of I was like, where are these shirts from? But apparently it's a cluster team, that our 3rd and 4th cluster with, called the Dolphins. So yeah, the new brand was born here, called the Gooi Dolphins. But I must say, in the first half, that first try, but then Gooi got them all going, got their set piece going. But once those players sort of went off the field, you guys, as you say, second half you had a great tactical sort of advantage. You took advantage of it.
And I think, just that first try, that made the difference, because I think that win was a 3-try half.
Yeah, that's what
and
he
I
said.
think getting that one, like I said, these kind of games, you need a bit of luck and something going your way. So tactically,
but I think your 9 and 10 obviously did a better job with the conditions. And I think your bigger players stood up. You always knew it was going to be a dogfight. In the last couple of seasons, Gooi have sort of come away with the dogfights here. And this one, you came away. I mean, I left before the end, and I thought that 21-7 up, I thought, okay, it's done. And then later when I spoke to you, I could hear the excitement in your voice.
3 beers down.
But a great win.
That was good. Thank you.
And I think it must be very. I think look at the scrum, Eric. Watch the scrum here. This is as I was leaving.
Yeah, Denzel just goes through.
So that's Denzel, eh?
Yeah, that's him.
Kubrick won't be happy with that tackle.
Yeah.
Joris, hè?
Ik denk dat ze Haarlem overigens ook ledverlichting
Denzel
hebben.
scored again, he scored 3 tries.
So it was Denzel who scored the 3 tries. Yeah.
Hetzelfde probleem als bij de Dukes, ziet hier ook helemaal niks.
Ja, dat is ledverlichting.
Yeah, this just worked out perfectly.
Oh, I've seen that move before.
But again, the wing misses the tackle. Otherwise, it gets tackled out. Everything goes down. So worked out well for us. Thank you.
A great result there, 28-26 to Haarlem, putting them back in the mix. So obviously some good things happening there. We'll speak to Logan a little bit later to give us a little bit more insight to the coaching and to the training. It must be said that things have started to look up since you got rid of Dino Bosic, so I think it's a good thing.
Guys are a lot fitter.
But anyway, Wessel, we're going to move on to the Oysters versus RSA. Now,
Je moet wel de krantenknipsel laten zien, want anders stuurt Giel nooit meer iets op.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to push transition. Oh, it works.
Zakje. Dat is een goed
Walker ramt door Gooise muur. Nou, dat was geen muur.
Wel, dat was een muur. Muurtje.
Okay, you put the article up. I haven't read it yet. So what article? What's the big thing?
I haven't read it either, maar Giel stuurt het in.
This is good television.
Gaan we het erin zetten, precies.
But yeah, obviously Denzel making a big impact. Yeah,
Yes, definitely.
I think so. Nice article for.
Yeah.
I think Marcel Tabbers writes for the Gooi and Emelanden now, so if I'm correct, and he must have loved writing that.
Die was niet Piet van der Dijssel die voor de Gooi.
No, I believe Marcel's got this region now, so interesting. I spoke to him at the Brazil game, and that's what he told me. So he must have loved writing that article.
Yeah, I think the difference is once there's success happening at the place, people want to start writing about it. So unfortunately, that's the game we're in. There's results at the end. So we'll keep on pushing hard for that.
That's it. That's it. But so moving on swiftly away from that, from the Gooi Dolphins. Lovely shirts. Moving on to Oysters versus RSA. Wessel, you went on the field, but very emotional commentating.
Ik was er zeker wel bij. Ik zat in,
It's a pity. Do we have sound of the commentator? No?
Nou, het is niet opgenomen, we hoorden het hier.
Now, Oysters, Eric.
Yeah.
This is like Eric's little child that he likes to abuse, in the sense that, I think I've never seen someone happier that the Oysters haven't won a game yet.
Ah, leugenaar.
Well, they started well. You would think they were all...
De enige plek waar ik in Brabant nog kan komen sinds ik deze show maak, en dan ga jij even mij verpesten.
No, I must say I'm surprised that you're more...
Nou, ik begrijp, weet je, als je het begin van die wedstrijd ziet, dan zie je Oysters spelen. Ze kunnen makkelijk losjes rugby spelen, maar uiteindelijk schiet er iets in en dan gaat het mis.
Okay, but what was the plan here, Wessel, before Eric talks his way out of not supporting the Oysters?
Het begin ging een beetje moeizaam bij ons. Veel even inkomen, standaard, heb ik ook gezegd op de commentary trouwens. En we zijn in de eerste helft 15 minuten lang in hun 22 geweest. En dan penalty na penalty en dan zelfs een gele kaart. Maar we kwamen er elke keer net niet overheen. Hier hadden we wel een beetje mazzel.
No, een beetje is het wel. But I mean, look, this is what rugby's come to here, in the sense that it's not always about open, flashy game. It's about the set piece. It's about the kicking game. The maul's massive.
En door alle blessures was onze set piece voor een paar wedstrijden best wel heel slordig. We hadden op een gegeven moment maar 1 line-out target echt. Dus dan was het ook makkelijk voor de tegenstanders om tegen te springen. Maar nu hadden we al onze forwards weer terug, weer wat gewicht erin. En onze line-outs waren echt perfect. Volgens mij 100% line-out percentage.
So, big run there.
Ja, big guy. Offload spel, ook al was het kut weer. Was nog veilige offloads doen en we kwamen elke keer terug. Stonden een tijdje voor, elke keer met 1 puntje voor. De druk stond op ons en hier komt Timo eroverheen, die ken je ook wel.
Ja, Timo Aldensen, what a little player he is.
Ja,
underrated.
Gepromoveerd naar de tight head.
Wat?
Tight head.
Timo speelt tight head?
Sinds dit seizoen begonnen en basis tight head en hij doet het verrassend goed.
Oh, Logan.
Hij moet af en toe wel wat meer tijd geven aan zijn benen dan aan die kanonnen van de armen, maar...
Yeah, no, look, I think Timo definitely skips leg day. But now you're in the front row, but you've got to start working the legs and not the gun so much, eh? But no, well, that's good news. But I mean, yeah, fantastic result. And obviously we have Paul later in the show as well, so we'll hear a bit more about the coaching and training going there. But did you go by bus to Oysters?
Ja. Dus,
so, I'd hate to be the bus driver on the way back.
Op de heenweg was iedereen nog een beetje gespannen, maar op de terugweg ging het helemaal los. We waren wel goed voorbereid met hoeveel sixpacks we mee hadden.
Yeah, I still remember the last time we went there and played the Oysters and won. We had a cooler box full of oysters and beer.
Als je het nog herinnert, heb je niet goed genoeg gedaan. Als je het nog herinnert, heb je niet goed genoeg gedaan.
No, sometimes you have to be responsible, Wessel.
Oh, oké. Moet ik eens aan gaan denken.
I was more on the Oysters, let me put it that way. But no, fantastic result there. But Eric, we must say that the Oysters at the bottom of the table now. If we go look at this, which
Nou, dat had ik aan het begin van het seizoen echt niet
nee,
voor.
that's the verkeerde. If we go look at this now, before we get to the rest, but if we look at this now, Oysters at the bottom by 1 point, but haven't won a game.
7 points.
Zo, hoe krijg je 7 punten maar?
Nou ja, het ook dichtbij te blijven.
En gelijk spelen.
Kijk ook, ze staan onderaan, maar ze hebben 168 punten in de min. De twee daarboven hebben meer in de min, hè? Dus ze blijven dichterbij.
So, just not there yet.
Just not there yet.
So maybe they'll turn the corner as well. Could happen.
Nou, ik denk het niet. Het probleem is, de komende 8 wedstrijden, op papier gaan ze verliezen. Want de komende 8 wedstrijden zijn de bovenste 8. En dan helemaal aan het einde van die rit krijgen zij AAC en Breda. Waar we normaal van zouden zeggen dat ze die winnen. Maar die hebben ze ook 2 keer verloren. Dus het wordt heel taai voor de Oysters om dit seizoen door te komen. Het wordt een heel naar seizoen. Tenzij ze voor verrassingen gaan zorgen tegen hoger ingeschatte clubs.
Yeah. Okay, but I think to sort of wrap up the first half of the show, because we're doing a little bit differently tonight. We're not going to do just the predictions. We're also going to have 2 new guests on the show, so we're going to split it. But, we did get some feedback from Breda's captain, Sam van Beek, who said that, he told Gill that we just have to beat Amsterdam. So, and that's this weekend, isn't it?
Ja, dit weekend een belangrijke wedstrijd voor ons beiden. En
Is it uit of thuis?
Uit.
Wow. Breda, eh? That's another funny pitch, that clay pitch. Eh?
Nee, onze eerste wedstrijd was thuis tegen Breda. Toen hadden we gewonnen. Maar beide teams zijn nu echt wel een stuk sterker geworden. En het wordt een goede pot. Ik heb er zin in.
Ja, heb je zin in?
Misschien mag ik weer commentaar geven als goede streamer.
I don't think Breda will let you on the mic after the performance.
They haven't got one.
No? Oh no, they don't do...
Er komt geen beeld uit Breda. Er komt wel via... Uiteindelijk kunnen we er af en toe aankomen. Ze hebben zo'n zombiecamera staan.
Ja,
en zonder geluid.
Yeah.
Dus, helaas.
But Ian, obviously been a cracking 3 weeks for you. Big plans for Haarlem and for yourself at the club. But obviously great to have you in the country. Do you know much yet about any sort of Dutch traditions or anything? You know what? I think we should start a tradition here. We should bring him a haring, your neighbour, and let him, Have you had any of that yet?
Your neighbours, yes, but no harings yet. But
No harings?
Not yet. So hopefully Christmas coming up, and hopefully a win on Saturday, maybe we'll have some harings.
But I'm definitely going to organise your haring. Haring is the best thing ever, but you got to hold it by the tail and give it horns all the way in.
I've seen it.
Ja? So, geen inburgering in Haarlem yet, hè?
No.
Zonder haring geen inburgering, hè?
Ja, nee.
Het is wat ons onderscheidt van de wilde.
But Ian, obviously we'll see a lot more of you this season, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Wessel, same with you. I think fantastic that you're back here. Hopefully, do we know when you're back on the field?
Probably in January for the pre-season. The second pre-season. I'm gonna be doing contact again, so I'll be back when the season starts again.
Okay, but finishing off with that, Eric, I think we'll go into the break. Get a nice cold beer. Well, in this sort of weather, if you look look like Ian when you arrive there, probably a nice warm gembete.
Grog.
Yeah, and we'll see you after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the second half of the show. A little bit of a change. We're not only doing predictions, we've still got a couple of games to go, but also, Eric, welcome back. And obviously, big welcome. It's not your first, is it your first time to the show?
First time, yeah.
Logan, I'm gonna mess up your
Sure, last time.
Hey? Logan, Ngatuere, Angli?
Ngatuere, Angli.
Ngatuere, Angli. Sorry, I've got to get the old Putanga going there. Storm will be proud of me there to get that going. But then, also, welcome. First time for you, definitely, as well. Paul Davey from Australia, Logan, New Zealand.
Yep.
Bit of rivalry going here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anzac spirit, Southern Hemisphere.
But Paul, welcome to the show, mate. Good to have. Now, Eric, do you know anything about Paul Davey?
I think we played against each other 100 years ago.
No, I don't think you played against Paul. You played in higher leagues than what you played.
Ja, maar hij zal toch ook wel eens een keertje afgedaald zijn, hè? Bij het gewone voetvolk te kijken.
Paul is from the legendary era of RSA, if I'm correct, Paul. I was there in 99-2000. I played with Bustinel, Job Volker, Patrick Bromans, a lot of the guys that went on and have coached at other clubs, Joost, who's with Oysters. So, yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, that was a great RSA team. Eh?
It was.
Joost Deuvenberg.
Yes.
Ja, hij is hier geboren en getogen. Maar uiteindelijk is hij afgezakt.
Yeah, well, Joost was our fullback, and Jeroen, his brother, was a centre winger for us. So that was a great time. Paul Miller, the Smurf, Chris Yaw. So it was a great team.
The Smurf, he's coaching now. I'm still famous.
Yeah. So there's a lot of wild teammates who are coaching and still involved in Dutch rugby, which is terrific.
Okay, and now coming back to RSA. Talk us through that. What's the theory about you making a return to Dutch rugby?
I bought a girls' school team over here during the Rugby World Cup, so I was down in France, and I took a little bit of leave and came up and visited the Netherlands and spent a bit of time with AAC. And George de Vries and Gary Jeffries had a chat to me and said, look, if we get back in the Aero class, would you be interested in coming over and helping us settle back into the Aero class? And a few things had to line up, and sort of it all clicked into place, and here I am.
Awesome. And so just back in rugby, or are you doing other things?
Just in rugby. I work for Stewart Home School, which is a big girls' school in Brisbane, and they've been kind enough to let me do some project work and some work from over here. So I'm still doing a little bit of work for back home, but by and large just here for rugby.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, welcome back, and it's great to have you back in the fold in Dutch rugby, to have experienced coaches like yourself. Talk us through, before I go to Logan, talk us through the structure in the club in terms of, is RSA doing anything to upskill local coaches, your coaches that are coming up, or is that,
we've got, in our first team setup, we've got two coaches, Ed Good. Ed's Englishman, who's a very experienced player, played with Aero class with Haarlem, and he's our attack coach and doing a great job. Danny is also a skills coach. He's from Argentina and adds a lot of flair and passion to our coaching group. And
definitely passion.
Yeah, indeed. And then we have Mike in our second team. So we've been working strongly.
That's Mike Mayhem.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we're working closely as a coaching group, and then more broadly with the ladies coaches and with the youth coaches. So, and Gary as on board as director of rugby.
Yeah, because with the ladies you've got Emil van Os, yeah?
Correct. Yes, Emil's doing a great job.
Yeah, because he also works at the academy as part of our staff as well, which is it's always great too.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic.
Ook een juke.
Wie?
Emil is ook een juke.
Ja.
Komt hier vandaan.
Well, we left that out for a reason.
Ja.
But,
ja. Ik stop het gewoon in. Maarten is zijn broer.
Ja, Maarten van Os, Emil van Os, Sebastian van Os.
Sebastian van Os.
Great rugby family. All involved, have been involved in Dutch rugby somehow.
Ja.
Sebastian is one of probably the best physio that I've had to work, one of the best.
Ik woon in een heel klein dorpje. Hun vader is dierenarts. En ik woon in een heel klein dorpje. En daar 7 broers en 3 zussen. Allemaal rond de 80 zo, en ouder. Die vroeg of ik binnenkwam. Ja, jij kent Van Os toch? Kun jij eens aan hem vragen? Want wij kijken televisie. Maar er is nooit iemand uit ons dorp op. Hoe kan dat? Dat wereldje was zo klein.
7 brothers and 3 sisters.
Ja.
Now there's definitely no television in that house.
Ja, er was televisie in dat huis, ja.
Yeah?
Verhaal van Ad van Os.
Okay, well, I didn't know that about, but I know those Van Os boys, and tell you what, cracking lads, and do a lot of good stuff in rugby. But Paul, obviously, welcome back. Fantastic to have you. Logan, been in Dutch rugby for a little bit, or
3 years now.
3 years.
Going to my 3rd season, yeah.
3rd season.
Yeah.
Got left to pick up the pieces at Haarlem, if we can call it that.
Yeah.
After a very successful period under Mark Pano, you've taken over now as the head coach of Haarlem, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Been doing a fantastic job. Loves to play on grass, doesn't like to play on artificial.
Yeah, but no, we don't do that in New Zealand. I don't want to play on AGP over here. I'll train on AGP.
But talk us through, what's obviously Ian's now come in, but he's been talking to you from South Africa for a while, if I'm correct.
So once we found out he was definitely coming across, we got in contact straight away. So a big thing for us at Haarlem is the off-field connection, translate to on-field. So we wanted to make that connection early, and it's paying dividends now. So it took us a while to get started, but we did the right thing.
Okay, man. Also, talk us a little bit through about who is Logan. Obviously, front rower.
Yeah, well.
So obviously, there we go. Eric, front rower, is there?
Yeah, hooker back in the day, but played rugby in New Zealand, in Wellington, or Welly Deep as they call it. But got some pretty serious injuries throughout the years, as you do. And when I tried to come back and play, my coach pretty much told me I wasn't good enough anymore. So physically I was, but mentally I wasn't there. And then long story short, my PE teacher told me I had to coach, fell in love with coaching and just stuck with it.
Okay, and what's your forte, if you had to say?
So like in terms of like where I'm from, where I've coached?
No, more about what, as a coach, what do you love about the game, what do you bring?
Just love how you can have a lasting impact on players, and you can take them from one position in life and into the next. So yeah,
awesome.
That's why I coach. But then obviously I love the result, love to compete. So
yeah, that's always cool. You know that. So talk us through a little bit about Haarlem, where you've started, where you are now.
Yeah, so it was really tough last year.
Yeah, it was tough last year.
probably wasn't the start that I wanted as a head coach taking over. But I learned a lot along the way. Learned what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what to focus on, what not to focus on. Completely different to back home. And just really tried to focus on the culture and keep that growing, which I think we did a good job last year despite the season. And then going into this year with Ian jumping into the mix has just been amazing. So still working hard, still lots of work to do. But I think we're getting there. We're starting to knock on the right door. So yeah.
What's sort of your secret been about the culture? What drives that at the club?
Yeah, we told all the boys, the more we get around each other off field, the better we're going to be on field. And so we have different people from different walks of life, different countries, different cultures, and the more we can connect off field, it'll pay off when we get out there. So
win or lose, get on the booze.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
There we go. It worked for the Reds, eh? But I think we'll come back to a couple more conversations. But I think our next game is. There we go. Hook against HRC. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the highlights or seen the clips of this.
Yeah.
But HRC's got to be one of the teams that, they've pushed Rotterdam the closest, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Well coached with Hadley and Ollie. Ollie's doing a fantastic job there with the forwards, and I think he's actually made his comeback here and started. They've also got guys coming back into the fray. I think you see Ollie score a good try here on the edge. Good edge attack. Yori hop back in the mix. He's a big player for them. But Ollie, a big bump off there and a good try there. But he's really sorted their line out. I think you've got them this weekend, right, Logan?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
So you were saying off air that you have to stop them all?
I think they had 15 line-outs in the game and every single one was a maul. So if we can't stop them all, we're going to have a long day at the office.
Yeah, Ollie's done a cracking job with the line-out and the maul. And it's definitely something that they've worked on, because I think last year it was probably something that wasn't their strength. Their backline was their strength, but getting this right, I think is going to add a weapon to them, especially this weather.
Maar het kan blijkbaar niet allebei, want ze kunnen nu shirtjes wisselen. Zij spelen het spel van Eemland van vorig jaar en Eemland speelt het spel van Den Haag van vorig jaar zo'n beetje.
That's a great observation, but I think you also have to play the weather, and I think this is smart playing, using your set piece. This is what you want to do. I mean, Paul, that's something that you were saying off air as well, that something you've worked hard at RSA is your set piece, yeah?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge because we've gone through a stage of recurring injuries in the early season. So it's been on the weekend we managed to field our strongest line out and probably our strongest line out forward pack all season, and I think we won all but one line out on the weekend, and that's a platform for us. I mean, 3 of our tries I think came directly or indirectly from line out. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we have to look at it, so HRC, Haarlem HRC this weekend at home, so you say 15 lineouts, 15 mauls basically. That's your analysis of them. So
we've got to stop them all. Shut them down. Hopefully it's raining again on the grass.
Watch them not maul this weekend.
Hey, it works in our favour.
But you're on grass again if the weather permits?
I hope so, you know me.
Jeez, mate, if it's anything like last week. Make sure you get your thermals on and your gloves on, but that's going to be a big one. I think going into the last game that we have for this weekend is Coach's Corner. It's brought to Mitch McGann and myself. Usually Mitch does the analysis, but we use analysis software where we try to identify a couple of things. And what we identified this week was obviously Maddox, the 10 from Rotterdam, is just a phenomenal player. Also, Will van Dijk had a cracker of a game.
Yep.
But a solid again performance from Rotterdam. Just really sort of staking that claim to as the number one team at the moment that no one's been really able to touch. Their lineouts firing. If we can see, you never stand off Will van Dijk and give him a soft shoulder and he'll punish you all day. But really bad fold here from Ameland around the corner, as you can see same way play from Rotterdam. And nothing's really on here, but you see there's too many players on the blind from Ameland, and Maddox just picks that space. And a player of his quality, using dummies and everything, going straight through there. Yeah, it's really too easy. But the guy with his class, speed, and ability, you've got to be careful. And then here, just out the back, Wolf van Dijk, Maddox again, too bunched, no one pushing through the shape really. and then again Maddox punishing them, and a worldie of a try step, and he's an ex-sevens, played sevens for the Wallabies, right, Paul? Couple of World Series tournaments. So if you give him space, he's going to carve you up. The thing that did say was human is that kick there he missed in front of the poles. And yeah, just again, no kick chase. And then again, if you're going to kick the ball, you've got to have a chase. And this was pretty easy for them to split them open. And this is the first 20 minutes, guys.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Well,
I'm just being honest with England, you know.
But yeah, England a bit shell-shocked here, right, Logan? What would you say?
Yeah, it looks it. I mean, that's not the England that we know, so no doubt when we play them, not this week, but the week after, they'll be a different.
So what would you think? I mean, obviously, Rotterdam, we've seen their circuit, but like England here, do you think they got it wrong in terms of tactics, or?
I seem so, but if I'm being honest, Rotterdam, when we played them, we got absolutely slapped. So I think if you show up and you think you're going to have an easy start, you know, you'd be rudely awakened because they come out the sheds.
Oh, this is the red card.
Oh, that's shocking.
Scarlet red, deep dark red.
It also doesn't help though, right, when you get a red card?
No, it doesn't.
So,
and if you think about it, 31-0 at half-time.
Yeah.
I don't think England's ever been in that situation, so a little bit shell-shocked. And then here, João, man, what a player he is, the Iceman. Geez. And I think that's, if you have to look at it, if you have to say, right, what's the difference between Rotterdam and other teams from last season is that they've been able to keep the spine of their team back. They've got them again. They've got the 10, 12, 13. Wolf van Dijk as an addition. Got some, good lighting.
Ze hebben een behoorlijke eerste rij nu. Hè,
Well, that's it. As Logan said,
die twee oliebollen van vorig jaar zijn weg en daar hebben ze nou behoorlijk volk op staan.
Twee oliebollen.
Ze hebben de rest staat als een huis. En met Wolf van Dijk er extra bij. Ja, maar eens kijken wat er staat, man. Geweldig. Ik had voorspeld Eemland als enige. Dat was ook een beetje wensdenken natuurlijk. Maar ik kreeg een telefoontje van Christian. Ik kreeg eerst een sms'je van een onbekend nummer. Je zit ernaast, hè, maat? En toen belden we dus. Ja, hij wreef het er even in. En terecht natuurlijk. Ja, het is een hele heldere overwinning. Het zegt ook iets over de rest van het seizoen meteen.
Well, look, I think...
Uiteindelijk zijn er maar 2 clubs geweest. En dat is niet om de Jukes ook erbij te brengen. Den Haag en de Jukes hebben redelijk gepresteerd tegen Rotterdam. En de rest is gewoon allemaal naar de slagbank gereden.
Well, look, I mean, the only thing that I can say is that, you know, it's not over until the semi-final. I mean, look...
England's been there for the last, you know, how long? So.
Well, that's it, you know. I mean, England does know... Well, they didn't know how to win a semi-final last year, but they do know how to play finals and semi-final rugby. Rotterdam has been in the semi-final and the cracker of that. HRC has been in now 2 finals, you know, so... And you know, unfortunately been on the losing end. You know, does Rotterdam, I think at the moment, if you had to say who's going to win it, you'd obviously, it's a one-horse race.
Ja, je kunt nou, nu is er maar 1 team waar je van zou kunnen voorspellen dat ze kampioen worden, dat is Rotterdam. Al het andere is onzin of wensdenken of hoop. Dus daar doe ik ook gewoon aan mee hoor, overigens. Dus, maar Rotterdam heeft de beste papieren.
Well, I mean, credit to Christian and the team in Rotterdam, what they've done there. You know, they've been almost perfect.
Yeah.
Almost op 1 puntje na perfect gescoord.
They've got to drop one. I've seen many teams that go unbeaten and lose it in the final. So they've got to drop one. They drop one against
So who would they drop it against? Oh, say, Paul, you got a plan for them?
Well, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, mate.
No, look,
Noem er eens één.
it's theirs to lose, from what I'm saying. And but finals footy is a different brand of rugby, isn't it? So and funny things happen in finals. So it's a different kettle of fish when you're playing games where you're not playing to win, you're playing not to lose. So who knows? But at the moment, you'd have to say they're white hot favourites.
Absolutely. I think it's definitely something interesting for us to... I mean, what becomes interesting here, Logan, as I was saying to Ian earlier, now you're looking at that. I mean, Dukes is probably sitting in second, looking really strong. Aimland is probably going to be there in about HRC, those top 4. But then to challenge for that 4th position in 5th and 6th, Haarlem and Gooi, you know, 4 and 7 points clear of Hookers. You'd probably think Hookers and Cass and Diok. I mean, especially with what's going to probably happen to Diok is a bit too far. With the whole points reduction and stuff that we're hearing, rumours you're hearing about it. But I would say that Gooi Haarlem still maybe has a sniff, but they're probably going to have to win the next couple and then come up the stable strong in the second half.
I think we dropped a few games that we shouldn't have dropped at the start of the season, and so that's going to make it hard for us. But never say never.
Never say never.
But it'll definitely make it hard. We've got to win our next 2, and then we're going to come back after the break hissing, or else we're going to struggle. So.
Okay, talking about the break, we've never had the split season where now we're going to have 2 months off.
Yeah.
Okay. Give us a bit of an insight. What's your sort of, what are you going to do? Or what's your...
Yeah, so we'll give the boys a bit of a break over Christmas.
Yeah. Get on the duck fat.
Yeah, big chat around getting around their families and their partners, kids, if they've got them. Spend that time, because we're asking a lot once we get back together. So we're hoping to train around 4 days a week. One of those days being more of a team day, probably on Saturday. And we'll just build like that up until 8th of March. So
You'll be training?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
In the break, during the break?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Nice.
Work hard.
And that's like a bit of strength and conditioning and field
100%.
stuff?
So you can't do 4 field sessions a week. I feel like the boys will get a little bit annoyed at the coaches. So it'll be a challenge for us. I think it'll be a good challenge, especially if they do this next year. So a lot of learnings to come from it, but we've got to have the fun factor in there, but also got to work hard as well, because the boys have got a goal, right, and they've all bought into it. So that's
awesome. So you've got buy-in from the players?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And Paul, what RSA's sort of idea?
Yeah, we've secured a gym for Monday evening, so we're going to look at least 2 S&C sessions and probably 2 field sessions over the break. For me, it's been when you have a team that's just promoted, it's learning where you need to concentrate on. So we've had a lot of tough lessons in the first half of the season, and we've identified areas we want to focus on. And we'll use this time to, I suppose, build what we've started building on. When you're coaching a team that's just promoted and you go through a stage with some injuries, you find yourself, but what I hate doing, but band-aid coaching, you find yourself having to patch things together for the next week and then patch things together for the next week. So I'm pretty excited actually about getting into a phase where we can just really identify skills we want to improve on and build towards the second half of the season.
Absolutely. And like you say, it would be very important to maybe focus on those first 2-3 games, get your analysis right, your stats right for that, and focus on certain areas of the game to really drill it home. Hey, Eric?
Nou, wat ik bijzonder ga vinden, dat moet afwachten. De competities gaan door, hè? Dus de tweede klasse, derde klasse, vierde klasse, die gaan gewoon door.
Gooi Dolphins.
Ja, gooi Dolphins, precies. Ja. Nee, die gaan door. De ereklasse en future klasse stopt. Nou, hier gaan ze allemaal goede hypertrofische programma's doen en trainen en dergelijke. Maar er is nog steeds rugby te kijken, dus we kunnen nog naar de club toe.
Ja, zeker. Now, also talking about that, Eric's favorite subject is the future class. Currently at the top of the future class, HRC2, Rotterdam Studenten up there, USAS again up there with a strong performance, although 2 games less. Alscrum 2 games less. So yeah, at the bottom there, Haarlem 2, the Rangers, which we discussed a little bit earlier. Obviously trying the first year in the future class, it's positive. It's a great thing for your club to have that. I mean, especially with your youth, once you get it right, you know, once you, I mean, if your Colts, your future and your first team are firing, and your juniors, I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah, we're in a good place. So
yeah, so that's, and that'll come, like Paul said, you know, your first season up in these sort of competitions, a lot of band-aid coaching, a lot of sorting out things, but that will come. Eric, any sort of feedback about the future class? You happy with the ages? Is everything going according to plan? Or?
Nee, dat moet nog wel een stukje beter, denk ik. Dus dat kan nog wel beter. En volgend jaar gaan we ook weer gewoon stappen zetten. Dus wat je wel ziet is dat je maakt regels. Je hebt een hekel aan regels. Je maakt regels en mensen houden zich net aan de regels.
Ja, hoop met zijn regels.
Je scheren zo lang net langs de rand.
Te veel regels. Means we have to manage more things, hè?
Ja, maar dat is ook...
Now you've got everyone like this Russian lawyer looking for everything that they can to claim games.
Weet je wat zo fijn is? De clubs hebben veel meer regels om te overtreden nu.
Ja,
ze zijn allemaal dolgelukkig.
Ja,
iedereen heeft het
just like a medical joker.
Ja, medical joker, ja. Milan Schuttel.
We won't go there. We won't go there. Right, gents, what happens now?
De meest genoemde naam in het Nederlandse rugby. Milan Schuttel.
Eric, back in your box. Yeah? There's a new Milan Schuttel coming out, apparently. But anyway, the return of Milan Schuttel. But what we're going to look at now, guys, how it works is we're going to predict a few games. The 14th of December, Ereklasse. And what we ask you for is your prediction of the game. Obviously, RSA, we know you're going to go with RSA. We know you're going to go with Haarlem.
Maybe not.
Oh.
No. Well, everyone goes against us on the show, and we end up getting the win. So I might have to do the same.
Hey! Mick, you heard it here first. It's not me this time.
No, I'm joking. Of course, Haarlem, for sure.
But so first game we've got is a home game, Dukes versus Dioc. Paul, I'll go to you first.
I think Dukes at home might be just a bit too strong.
So you go bonus point win for the Dukes?
No, just a win.
Just a win?
Just a win.
Ooh. Okay, Giel agrees with you.
The Oracle.
The Oracle. Logan?
For my Marsh, I'll go Dukes 4 point. Dioc, sorry, 4 point win though. No bonus.
Sticking together, eh? Kiwis?
Of course, have to.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay, so Dioc to beat the Dukes here.
Yeah, upset them.
Well, in the lights, in the dark, it might happen. It's a bit like South Africa, this place. Eskom, eh? Load shedding.
Nee, gaat niet gebeuren. Nee, de Dukes gaan winnen.
Ja?
Ja.
5 punten?
4 punten.
4 punten?
Ja, 4
No, I'm going to go Dukes full house. 5, bonus point win. I think the Dukes might be the black sheep of the season.
Yeah, very good.
The dark horse.
The black sheep, that's not right.
No.
It sounds a bit like
That's
Eric. That's good, yeah. Right, so Dukes to win it there, or except you say Dioc there. Any comments? No? No, okay. Oysters, Gooi. Now, at Oysters. Now, to be honest with you, Gooi Dolphins away. This could be the Oysters. Hey? Eric, I'll start with you. Now, but you've beaten Oysters the whole, like a beaten dog the whole season. So I can't imagine you going for Oysters.
Nee, ik ga dit keer de komende 8 wedstrijden verliezen de Oysters.
Yo.
Dus ik ben gelijk de komende 8 weken kan ik dan gewoon op het strand gaan liggen. De komende 8 wedstrijden
Winterbanden gaan
verliezen de
kopen.
Oysters. En daarna komen AAC en dan komen de kansen. Tenzij daar weer een...
Hold on, we said we were going to be at this game together eating oysters.
We will be there.
Right, anyway, you say Gooi.
Ik zeg gooi, ja.
Okay, Giel says 4 points for Gooi, 1 for Oysters. Well, Oysters have proven that right there are the bonus point kings. Logan?
I think the key is to make the Gooi Dolphins play in the Gooi Dolphins kit, and the Oysters might have a fighting chance.
Are you trying to give a tip there?
Yeah, just a little tip. Probably more. They don't like playing in that kit.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was, okay, can you play in your home kit? No.
No, I think Gooi will win it. They got a very good kicking game, and I think after last week.
No, they learned their lessons.
Well, no, I think they'll step up. And
Wat de trainer van de Oysters, die is Jan Hartwigse, is van de Oysters.
Ja, it's a welcome home. That might be a little bit of motivation.
Nou, ik denk niet dat dat een welcome home is.
There's a bit of spice in this game.
Ik denk dat de Oysters inderdaad... Nou, weet je wat ik doe? Ik zeg de Oysters winnen.
Oh, okay, so you're changing.
I'm changing. Waarom?
I'll change as well. We'll go Oysters.
Oysters win.
Yeah,
Whoa, look at this. On the table. Paul Davey.
Go Oysters.
Well, Aussie coaches have got to stick together, don't we?
Wee.
So,
3 Oysters, Giel for Gooi. I'm gonna go with Giel. Back the Gooi Dolphins. Gooi Dolphins for life. Yeah. Next one, Breda RSA, obviously RSA.
yeah, I think I'll tip them.
Yeah, mate. Okay, well, are you going to go full house or just?
I'll be happy with
Just the double.
one will be enough, but I'd like to get more than that. But
Another bus trip?
Another bus trip.
Oh.
I'm tapping out though. I'm going to visit my friends at Etten afterwards. So I'm
Mate, you
staying in
can't tap
Brabant.
out of a bus trip when you win a game.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is that a fine there, Wessel? Oh, you're not allowed to say anything negative on the show, can you? Only positives from the board of RSA, eh? Yeah?
Het is altijd positief. Iemand wint er. Dus het is nooit zo positief. Ja, precies.
Now, you have friends at Etten.
Spent a couple of years there, mate.
I remember now.
You remember that?
I remember now, yeah.
So, yeah.
Etten, what a club. Play downhill, you got a good chance of winning. Play uphill, it's always a battle.
Ja.
All right, so RSA to win there. Logan?
Yeah, I'll stick with Paul. We'll go RSA to win.
Yeah?
I'm taking the 5th.
Now, I've got an interesting call here, and I was going to say it first, but he said it, a draw.
Ja, now I'm taking the 5th. Dat is hetzelfde.
It's like kissing your sister.
It's a draw.
Huh?
Ja.
You can't do that, mate. You can't win. It's not winning, it's not losing, it's like
Oh,
kissing
je
your
zegt, Spakenburg kunnen ze wel.
My sisters are like me in a dress.
Anyway, so we're going to draw there. 2 wins for RSA, so RSA to take it. Then we're going Hoek, Ameland in the Hoek.
Ameland.
Ameland,
Yeah,
5 points.
5 points, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Ameland.
Ameland, 5 points. Eric?
Eemland 5. 4 punten na de vertoning van afgelopen week.
4 punten?
Ja, dat was een wanvertoning van Eemland
Ja,
tegen,
okay, but,
tegen Rotterdam. Dan moet je er heel snel uithalen.
No, but listen, I just really hope that Ameland just shows exactly what you need to do in the Hoek. Is kicking game, set piece en moorden.
Ja, Eemland is slim genoeg om hem te winnen.
Ja.
Maar ik pak ook alleen maar een bonuspuntje
Hou
af.
op
Hè?
met de wide spelen. Gewoon forwards game. Bah,
Bam. Gas erop.
up the guts.
Ja.
Yeah? Okay, so Ameland to clean to get that. Now, the big one. Haarlem at home to Haarlem. Giel goes Haarlem with a win, but just Haarlem to get the bonus point. Paul?
I'll go Haarlem.
Haarlem. Look at
I'll
that.
stick with my mate. Yep.
Scared of the poo tongue, eh?
Yeah, I'll back the boys, of course. I think we'll build on the momentum. And we've got a statement to make after our first game against them, so...
Well, Mick, this, Mick special for you.
He's a good
Eric?
man, he's a good man.
Nou, die tribune in Haarlem die komt steeds voller te zitten met heel veel heel enthousiast publiek. En die schreeuwen die gasten gewoon over die treilijnen. Dus het is daar nooit makkelijk. Maar ik denk dat Den Haag gaat winnen. 4 punten.
No, this is special for my friend Irish Mick. Hawks are going to take it. You heard it here first. Hit the rack. Put that in your group chat.
You're guilty.
Yeah. So Hawks are to take that. Well, even, eh?
Yeah.
Haarlem.
That'd be good.
Hawks are, well, mind you, Giel says Hawks are, so 3-2. So there we go. Nice little battle there, Ian.
We gaan het zien.
Boerevos and Brandewijn in Haarlem. Yeah, okay, so there we have it. The predictions have been made, you've heard it here first. A couple of future class games. Duke Espoir is against Diok. I'm lucky for the Dukes. Eh? And then Delft against Gooi. Probably Delft, eh?
Delft. Nou, zeker
Rotterdam.
thuis. Delft, die spelen dus zonder hun eerste, dus die moeten alleen daar naartoe.
Ja, Rotterdam, UACS.
Normaal gezien USRS altijd. Die zijn gemiddeld 30. Het is gewoon eigenlijk een team wat naar de ereklasse wil. Het is geen future team of zo. Dus,
En dan Hoek is Ameland. Ameland Monkey.
nou, dat kan allebei.
Kan hij? Haarlem against
Hoek is een goed
HRC.
team, hè? Hoek is future
Haarlem
team.
at tabletop. The Rangers might struggle there, but could be the double. The double trouble in Haarlem. And then Haarlem Colts are playing this weekend. Eh? Oh,
That'll be a big one.
that'll be a
En
big one.
Rotterdam Studenten tegen Aascrum. Dat zijn allebei studentenclubs. Alleen dan zijn Rotterdam
Oh, okay,
Studenten
sorry,
zijn,
I said Rotterdam students.
zijn de kinderen van die van Aascrum, gemiddeld qua leeftijd. Dus,
Kinderen?
Ja, dus die zijn gemiddeld 20 jaar jonger dan Aascrum. Bij Rotterdam Studenten.
Okay, so interesting rugby, a weekend of rugby up ahead. I think you've got to say the pick of the weekend has got to probably be Haarlem HRC in Haarlem and Oysters Gooi. And then of course,
Ja, ik vind het...
Radar RSA.
Ja, dat is super, maar in de future class... Ik kom gewoon terug.
Nee, maar hou
Jawel,
op met de future klasse.
Snijders is tijd trainer. Kijk stiekem wat er gebeurt. Ze hebben 2 wedstrijden minder gespeeld. Staan op de 4e plaats met 32 punten. Als ze die 2 wedstrijden die ze in moeten halen...
Rotterdam students by 3.
Aascrum.
You don't ask them, I'll go Rotterdam students.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah? Okay, so any final words, guys? Eric?
Nee.
No controversy in Rugby Netherlands?
Nee, totaal niet.
You're looking forward to the ALV?
Volgens mij, ik ben net alweer uit de bocht gevlogen. Ik zag iedereen alweer kijken. Maar ik kom zelf uit Scheveningen, ik mag dat zeggen.
Okay, tuurlijk. Logan?
Do the dishes.
Do the dishes?
I had to say it.
There we go. I knew it. I knew there was something up here. Do the dishes, Rangers. Paul?
The Wallabies are back, Cadbury Wallabies, to beat the British and Irish Lions next year.
Oi!
There it is.
Controversy.
Heard it here first.
Joe Smith, eh?
Wonderful.
What a guy, doing a good job there.
Kiwi.
Indeed.
Unlucky to lose against Ireland. Kiwi guy, there we go. Well, Logan had to get that in there as well. And I'll just end with that, double World Cup winners, Russia Erasmus, what a guy. But also we can finish with,
Rotterdam Kas.
if you ain't Dutch, you ain't
Rotterdam
much.
Kas vergeten.
Wie?
Rotterdam Kas.
Rotterdam, oh we did. Rotterdam Kas. Thank you. Before we leave, Rotterdam Kas.
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam?
Rotterdam, yeah.
Rotterdam?
Yeah.
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam? Rotterdam. I'll go with Cuz.
Yeah, you go with Cas, Rotterdam.
Well, yeah, so there we go. Clean sweep there. Big games ahead of the weekend here, but ladies and gents, obviously from everyone here at Rugby Club The Dukes and from HIWRs3ep8, houdoe and bedankt.
Yep.